everybody. Thank you for joining me. So today we're doing a video. It's from the weekend challenge for Scrapbooking with Me Boutique. It's their members room page, and this is the sketch we're going to be using. I get a lot of my sketches from Pinterest and anywhere if I can. I'll put a link down below if I have links to where I get my sketches from. So we're going to go ahead and dive right in. And I'm using a lot of stuff from my stash, including these templates here that are going to help me create my border, because I don't have a scallop border as big as what's in that sketch right there. So I've had to kind of think outside the box. And I'm actually hoping that a friend of mine is going to be okay with the fact that I kind of scrap lifted her photos. But I'm going to give her the finished product, so hopefully she'll forgive me. But when I saw the photos, I was like, I have to do a layer. So the great thing about these templates is that all you have to do is lay them down, trace them, and then you cut them out, okay? And what I like about it is, even though I'm a really bad fussy cutter, I'm not the greatest. I don't do it that often. I think the more you do it, as with anything, you get better and better at it. But by distressing or inking your edges, it hides any type of, wonky cutting or just horrible cutting, however you want to uh, really describe it. I definitely suggest making sure that you ink your edges. I started out, and you'll see it in a second once I'm done cutting or tracing and cutting everything out. I start with the Distress Oxide ink and tea stain. Yeah, tea dye I think it is, and it was too light. It wasn't really hiding my poor cutting or tracing and cutting. So I do go to the regular Distress Inks Vintage Photo, which is a great, basically ink color for your edges. Because what it does is it makes it more vintage, or like it's been sitting around. It gives it a little bit darker edge, and depending on how dark you make it, you can even use it to like make your paper edges look like they've been burnt. I really like it. So I'm just using my Tim Holtz snips, and I wind up having to get a new pair. That's why these have the black handle. If you have the red handle, it's the same one. I want to say this past year they came out with the same items, but just with either black accents instead of the red. And let me tell you, I wish they had done that from the very beginning, because the red ones, they work really well, but I notice like the handle part looks dingy after a while. And I think having it be in the black is just going to make it look neater, instead of looking very used, you know what I mean? So I'm just snipping out all the little pieces. So I get my little sunshine here. And I don't know if you guys have ever used these templates, if you're familiar with these particular templates. I can't really get into them because I am doing this for scrapbooking with me. But if you have, leave a comment down below and tell me what you think about them. I am just starting to use them more. I find them to be interesting and fun, and I like doing uh, like the, what do I say? The border ones that I was using at the very beginning. I like using those and adding them to layouts every once in a while, and sometimes I do it more so when I'm just scrapbooking for myself, not necessarily for when I'm making my YouTube videos. Okay, so here we are, and I'm using the Distress ink, and I will say using it on something like this, it's a little wonky because of the different shapes, but I just keep moving the edges around and lift them up, fold them down, try to get inside, and then very lightly I do kind of brush the ink all over just to tone down a little bit of the yellow so it's not like super bright. That helps too. All right. So now what we're doing is I've inked the edges. I'm looking for my top piece to go right down the center of that particular banner piece that we made, but then I was like, oh no, I want the piece for that's going to go up in the top left corner, and I was like, okay, so then let's pick a different color, to go right down the center, and because this is a summer picture, you'll see it if I haven't pulled it out already. I'm like, let me go ahead and get my accent pieces, the pops of yellow and the things like that. So this piece right here, I'm going to use for the background of where the photos are going to lay. And then, sorry about this, it's taking a little bit longer, but I believe off camera I am picking or cutting my uh, yellow accent piece. There it is, the stripe piece. And if anything is ever like out of sync on my videos, I'm using Filmora, and I'm still trying to get used to Filmora 9 and working out the playback quality while I'm doing my voiceovers. But I find like sometimes I'm right on point, and like there's certain days like today where it feels like it's just slightly off. So I printed out two photos, and I want to say they're basically like 2 by 3, and I do trim down the one so that it's a little bit smaller. I didn't write down the actual size that I made it, but the idea is I want to, instead of using one 4 by 6, I kind of wanted to layer the photos on top of each other and use them on the layout. So I'm going to keep playing with it. It's going to be kind of like that. I just start to lay stuff on and together so that way I like to have an idea of, what we're working with, making sure everything's going to line up good. Going to trim down that pattern paper so that way it'll be just the right size for what I want to do with the photos. So you can see here, I also, during the course of this, have had the sketch itself up in the upper left corner. I'm trying to have it there so that you can see exactly what I'm working off of, because usually I have the sketch up on my computer, which is right in front of me. So that way, while I'm working on projects for you guys, I can see it, and then I can put it all together. So now that I have it pretty much laid out kind of with an idea, and I have some stuff I fussy cut out over on the side, I'm going to start putting this together. And I'm starting with my border and the banners here. And I'm just using my ATG and a little bit of wet glue, because the wet glue allows me a little bit of wiggle time, so that way I can set things up, move things around to try and get it set up exactly where I want it to lay. And then this one, I'm going to do the same thing. And all of my papers, I did use the vintage photo on it. So all the pieces have a similar look to the edge of them. Except for my photo mats, I do kind of leave those uh, alone. I don't go around the edges on those. And I wanted to make sure I put the sun on before I fully press down the, I guess it would be a pattern, the plaid paper. Um, and then we're going to attach our banners here. And you can do things like add layers, put foam tape so you can have added dimension. For me, for this part right here, I was okay with it just going straight on the photo. So right now I'm just attaching, this was a, one of those like Project Life cards um, that I had in my stash as well. And this one is as well, just to kind of give it a little bit of a border, but it doesn't make it stand out super big. And then that's the tag that I created or cut out at the very beginning. And I didn't punch a hole or anything. My idea for that was that that would be the spot where a little bit of journaling could go. If she wanted to, she could put the date. So that way there would be a place for that. And then, of course, I always run out of ATG. It seems like by the time I'm ready to do the video, it's time to, refill it. So we're going to go ahead and get this attached. And I was having some problems with this one. I think it was a little bit bent. Um, so I had to like make it so I could get my fingers without it being so sticky. So that way I could get this put on. And then I was like, okay, I'm ready to go. Um, but if you notice, I kind of missed the piece. It's sitting over there on the side. Don't worry, we're going to get it. So I'm going to lay the first photo down. And I can't remember when exactly I realized. Oh, I think it's coming up. Where I'm like, oh wait, I left a piece. And I think that's there to help guide it. So it's not something that is not like your ATG gun won't work without it there, but it just helps the guiding, I believe. So yeah, I put that back on. And now I'm just going around the edges of my little square piece and the banner. I did fussy cut some flowers from a pattern paper that I had in my stash to kind of add to give a little bit of decoration. Um, Now for that little banner there, I did put it up higher so I could just trim it because it was a bigger piece. And then I'm just laying down some of these, which are like fun. Um, they're like tropical flowers to me. I guess you could call them tropical flowers. And I just think they went so well with the colors in the photo. They like matched her shorts perfectly. I'm like, okay, perfect. So let's ink around the edges, which I'm learning helps even with when you're fussy cutting the flowers or stuff out of your pattern paper. Inking your edges does help. And anything that was hanging off, I just trimmed off. So that way it'll fit in a book or a scrapbook page. If you're worried about it, if it's something that, it's not going to go into a book, then I say let them hang because sometimes it's really pretty when it does that. Now to add some more, I'm just pulling out some more embellishments. I got the flag here that I'm going to put on. I know for the title, I was thinking Sun Kissed. It was part of a chipboard or like a thicker set that I had. And I'm like, I'll never use this. So I'm like, this is perfect. So I'm laying some of these down. And I do find that with uh, the stickers, puffy stickers, the different things where they already come with adhesive on the back, I suggest that you don't be afraid and go ahead and put some glue on the back of those as well because it will help um, them stay to the project. Because I start adding some more things and I found that once I was done filming, uh, some of them were starting to kind of lift up again, and I was like, okay, so wherever I didn't use the glue, I could see where, yeah, I should have put some down. Now on this particular project, which is different from some of the ones I've done, I did no mixed media, so the paper itself didn't get wet. The only thing I do at the end is I do a little bit of splatters, but the splatter doesn't warp your paper like it does sometimes when you use the mixed media. And now I'm just taking some heart enamel dots. Basically, they're like enamel dots, but they're just in heart shape in the different colors, and I'm putting those down. I'm using some of the whimsical sticker sheet, which I want to say we got in the, was it April? No, it was the March kit, I think. And it's fun. I love just using stuff up that's in my stash. It doesn't always have to be a collection, even though I know uh, Miss E has her E Club, which is more geared towards, I want to say, card making. And then we also do a monthly scrapbook almost like kit where a lot of times we have the 12 by 12 papers and embellishments and things like that where you can do your scrapbook pages and you can use those for cards as well. The patterns are a little bit bigger, but you can still use it. And I'm just trying to go through some, ephemera I had, I was thinking it would give that same feel like that was in the sketch that's up above on our left side there. But I really love the sunshine. Ugh, but it's just there's something about it. I think it's on the black background, and I didn't have anything else that was like that. And I was just like, well, you know what? It's just too much. It's like too stark. So I decided I was gonna put this one that's with the heart, and I want to say it says happy, and I'm gonna put another, I think, heart up there. I put this little strip because it came off by accident. I mean, it was crazy. I just decided to move my heart up there so that way it'll be a part of that little cluster, and then that's it. We're gonna grab the Heidi Shine spray and give it a few taps, making sure, trying really hard not to hit my photo, even though I think I did a little bit, but it's okay. And then that's the finished project. Here are the close-ups. And I just want to say thank you guys so much for joining me. I like the different, like, once a month, I should say, on Scrapbooking with Me, the boutique or the members room. Um, they do weekend challenges every month. One weekend is a sketch, the next weekend is usually a color. Challenge, and then we have like the Miss E challenge because she does a lot of different projects on her YouTube page. So you guys can definitely check that out because the link will be down in the more section as well. And then I think usually like the last week in a month it's all about flowers. So there's always something going on in the members room that you can join in, and all that is required is if you join in the challenges, it's just a let us know that you used items from your stash or if you got it from Scrapbooking with Me. So thanks again, you guys, for joining me. Have a great day, and I'll see you with our next video.